I parked outside the Grand Crescent Hotel and smiled at Madison Reed. Ready? Madison Reed checked the reflection in the mirror. Give me 1 second. Everything has to be perfect tonight. You already look amazing. Madison Reed smiled. Thanks, Ryan Walker. Stay close, okay? Always. For 3 years, I believed those simple conversations meant everything. I never told Madison Reed that my family owned Walker Global Holdings. I wanted love that wasn't connected to money or power. Driving Madison Reed to work, helping Madison Reed prepare presentations, and celebrating every small success made me genuinely happy. I never felt embarrassed sitting behind the steering wheel, because I believed real love never measured someone's value by status. We entered the ballroom together. Crystal chandeliers filled the ceiling with golden light. Expensive suits, elegant dresses, and confident smiles surrounded me. The room buzzed with conversations about investments and luxury vacations. Madison Reed whispered, "Just stay relaxed." "I will." A tall man walked toward us with several guests following behind. Madison Reed. Brandon Cole said with a wide grin, "I'm glad you made it. Thank you for inviting me." Brandon Cole looked at me. "And who is this?" For one hopeful second, I expected the answer I had dreamed about hearing. Madison Reed laughed softly. "Oh, Ryan Walker is just my driver." Silence hit my heart before laughter filled the room. "Your driver?" "I thought Ryan Walker was your boyfriend." Madison Reed shrugged. "People misunderstand things." Another guest chuckled. I almost congratulated Ryan Walker. Brandon Cole pulled car keys from a pocket and casually tossed them toward me. Perfect timing. Since Ryan Walker is the driver, moved my car closer to the entrance. The keys struck my chest before falling into my hands. Every face watched me. Nobody defended me. Nobody questioned the insult. I looked at Madison Reed, waiting for one sentence. One sentence could fix everything. Instead, Madison Reed simply smiled. "Go ahead, Ryan Walker. It will only take a minute." My throat tightened. "I understand." I turned toward the exit without another word. Behind me, laughter continued. Outside, the cold night air felt heavier than the humiliation inside. A quiet voice stopped me. "Ryan Walker." I turned around. A young woman stood near the entrance. "I'm Claire Foster," Claire Foster said carefully. "I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize." I should have said something. "You weren't the person who hurt me." Claire Foster lowered both eyes. "I hope tonight doesn't change who Ryan Walker is." I forced a small smile. Tonight already changed everything. Stop thinking. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the sealed envelope I had carried all evening. Inside waited one short letter, one signature, and the last promise I would ever make to Madison Reed. I walked back toward the entrance. Music echoed to the hallway, but every note sounded distant. I found Madison Reed's handbag resting beside a chair. Nobody noticed me. My hand stayed steady while I slipped the envelope inside. "Parking receipts." I whispered. "That's what Madison Reed will expect." I looked across the ballroom. Brandon Cole raised a glass while guests laughed again. Madison Reed smiled beside Brandon Cole without searching for me. The sight hurt, but the pain also cleared my mind. Love without respect was only another cage. I walked outside and climbed into my car. My phone rang. Charlotte Walker appeared on the screen. "Ryan, when you coming home?" "Soon." "Everything okay?" I breathed deeply. "No." Everything finally became clear. "Do you want to talk?" "I'll explain later. Come home safely." "I will." The call ended, leaving only silence inside the car. I rested my forehead against the steering wheel and closed my eyes. 3 years of memories passed through my mind. Every birthday, every road trip, every late-night conversation suddenly felt different. I wasn't remembering love anymore. I was remembering every warning I had ignored. I started the engine, then stopped. Running away without saying goodbye didn't feel right. My letter deserved to speak for me. The letter said, "Madison Reed, I loved you with everything I had. I never care about money, titles, or appearances. Tonight, Madison Reed showed me that respect matters more than love. I refuse to stay where I am treated like someone to hide. This isn't revenge. This is goodbye. I drove away without looking into the mirror. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing Madison Reed. I was choosing myself. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but I knew one truth with complete certainty. My life had changed forever, and I would never return to the man who accepted humiliation for love. The resignation letter wasn't simply ending a relationship. The resignation letter marked the end of my old life. Tomorrow, I would stop pretending to be ordinary. Tomorrow, I would return to Walker Global Holdings and face the future without fear, shame, or regret. The next morning, my phone started ringing before sunrise. Madison Reed. I watched the screen until the call ended. A second later, another call arrived, then another. Finally, a message appeared. Madison Reed. Ryan Walker, what is this letter supposed to mean? I placed the phone on the kitchen table, without replying. A few minutes later, another message arrived. Madison Reed. Stop acting dramatic. Another. Madison Reed, call me. Then another. Madison Reed. You can't seriously end 3 years over one joke. I laughed quietly, but the sound didn't carry any happiness. A joke, I whispered. That's what Madison Reed calls humiliation. The phone rang again. This time, I answered. What? Finally, Madison Reed snapped. What is wrong with Ryan Walker? I should ask the same question. Are you really breaking up with me because of last night? I'm ending our relationship because last night showed me the truth. It wasn't a big deal. It was the biggest deal of my life. Madison Reed sighed. Ryan Walker, everyone at the gala was important. I couldn't tell Brandon Cole the truth. Why? They would laugh at me. I stayed silent. Madison Reed continued. I only said you were my driver because it made everything easier. For who? For me? Those 2 words hurt more than every laugh inside the ballroom. So protecting your image mattered more than protecting my dignity? Don't twist my words. I'm repeating your words. Silence filled the call. After several seconds, Madison Reed spoke again. So that's it? Yes. Ryan Walker will calm down. No, you always come back. Not this time. I ended the call before Madison Reed could answer. For the first time in 3 years, I felt pain mixed with freedom. Another call arrived almost immediately. The screen showed a different name. Jason Parker. Good morning, Mr. Walker. Good morning. Charlotte Walker asked me to contact you. I guess that. Everyone is waiting. I'll be there within an hour. The board will be relieved. I hope so. Welcome home, Mr. Walker. Those 3 words carried more respect than everything I had received during the last 12 hours. I dressed in a dark navy suit that had remained untouched inside my closet for years. Looking into the mirror felt strange. Yesterday, I looked like a man pretending to be ordinary. Today, I looked like the person I had spent years hiding. I picked up my car keys. This time, I wasn't driving toward Madison Reed. I was driving toward the life I had abandoned for love. Walker Global Holdings stood exactly as I remembered, but walking through the front doors felt completely different. Every employee I passed smiled politely. Good morning, Mr. Walker. Welcome back, Mr. Walker. It's good to see you again. I nodded, still adjusting to hearing those words after years of hiding my identity. The elevator doors opened on the executive floor. Charlotte Walker walked toward me and smiled before pulling me into a hug. I've missed you. I've missed this place more than I expected. Charlotte Walker stepped back and studied my face. So, was Madison Reed worth disappearing for 3 years? I smiled sadly. I thought Madison Reed was. And now I know I was wrong. Charlotte Walker didn't ask another question. I'm sorry. Don't be. I should have listened when you warned me. You had to learn your own lesson. Jason Parker entered the office carrying several folders. The board meeting starts in 15 minutes. Anything urgent? 3 acquisition proposals, 1 investor presentation, and a contract waiting for your approval. I laughed softly. That sounds easier than relationships. Jason Parker grinned. I wasn't going to say it. Before I could answer, Someone knocked on the open office door. A young woman stepped inside. I hope I'm not interrupting. I immediately recognized a face. Claire Foster. Claire Foster looked surprised. Ryan Walker remembers my name. I remember people who show kindness. Claire Foster lowered both eyes. I came to apologize. You already apologized. Not properly. You weren't responsible. I still stayed quiet. You were the only person who looked uncomfortable. Claire Foster took a slow breath. I wanted to stop Brandon Cole. What stopped Claire Foster? Fear. I nodded. I understand. I don't expect forgiveness. There isn't anything to forgive. Claire Foster smiled for the first time. I only wanted Ryan Walker to know that not everyone inside that ballroom believed Madison Reed was right. Thank you. Claire Foster handed me a business card. If you ever need an event planner, call me. I will. After Claire Foster left, Jason Parker looked at me with a curious smile. Interesting person. Just an honest person. Charlotte Walker picked up on the folders. Ready for the meeting? I looked around the office one last time. Yesterday, I lost a woman I loved. Today, I found the man I used to be. I straightened my jacket and walked toward the boardroom. I'm ready. As the conference room doors opened, every director stood to welcome me back. For the first time since the gala, I felt something stronger than heartbreak. I felt purpose. 3 weeks passed faster than I expected. Walker Global Holdings became my entire world again. Every morning started with meetings, negotiations, and difficult decisions. Every evening ended with another successful project. For the first time in years, I felt like I belonged somewhere. One afternoon, Jason Parker entered my office, carrying a black invitation. Mr. Walker, this arrived an hour ago. I opened the envelope. Global Investors Summit, hosted by Brandon Cole. I smiled. So, Brandon Cole finally invited Walker Global Holdings. Jason Parker nodded. Brandon Cole doesn't know you'll be attending. I know. Charlotte Walker walked into my office and noticed the invitation. Are you thinking about going? Yes. Madison Reed will probably be there. I know. Will that be a problem? I looked out the window. It was a problem 3 weeks ago. And now it's just another meeting. Charlotte Walker smiled proudly. That's the answer I hoped to hear. The night of the summit arrived. Luxury cars filled the entrance of the convention center. Jason Parker adjusted my tie. Nervous? Not at all. Good. What about you? I'm excited. We walked inside together. The ballroom looked even larger than the charity gala. Business leaders from across the country filled every table. Brandon Cole stood near the stage, speaking confidently with investors. Then my eyes found Madison Reed. Madison Reed wore an elegant silver dress and laughed at something Brandon Cole had said. For a brief moment, old memories returned. Then I remembered one sentence. Ryan Walker is just my driver. The memory disappeared as quickly as it came. Jason Parker leaned closer. Would you like me to announce your arrival? I shook my head. Not yet. Across the room, Madison Reed finally noticed me. Shock covered Madison Reed's face. Madison Reed whispered something to Brandon Cole before quickly walking toward me. Ryan Walker? Good evening. I didn't know Ryan Walker was coming. I received an invitation. Madison Reed looked at my tailored suit. You look different. I feel different. Madison Reed hesitated. Can we talk? We're talking? I mean privately. There isn't anything private left between us. Madison Reed lowered both eyes. I've been calling every day. I know. Why didn't Ryan Walker answer? Because every answer was already inside my letter. Madison Reed stepped closer. I made a mistake. I agree. I never wanted everything to end. Neither did I. Before Madison Reed could continue, Brandon Cole approached with a confident smile. There you are. Brandon Cole looked directly at me. I didn't expect a driver to attend an investor summit. I smiled calmly. Life is full of surprises. Brandon Cole laughed. I hope Ryan Walker enjoys watching successful people work. I plan to. Neither Brandon Cole nor Madison Reed realized the biggest surprise of the evening hadn't happened yet. Brandon Cole smirked and turned away. Come on, Madison Reed. The opening ceremony is about to begin. Madison Reed hesitated. Brandon Cole interrupted. Leave Ryan Walker alone. Drivers don't belong in executive conversations. I didn't respond. Arguing would only ruin the surprise waiting ahead. The ballroom lights dimmed as everyone took a seat. Jason Parker quietly guided me toward the reserved front row. Madison Reed frowned. Ryan Walker, those seats are for executives. Jason Parker smiled politely. Those seats were reserved for Mr. Walker. Brandon Cole laughed. Nice joke. Jason Parker didn't answer. A moment later, the master of ceremonies stepped onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Global Investors Summit. Tonight begins with a special welcome from the Chief Executive Officer of Walker Global Holdings. Applause filled the ballroom. Charlotte Walker walked confidently onto the stage. After thanking the guests, Charlotte Walker smiled toward the audience. Before we begin, I would like everyone to welcome the person responsible for leading our newest expansion. Please stand and welcome Executive President Ryan Walker. For a second, the entire room became silent. Then every executive stood and applauded. I slowly rose from my seat. Jason Parker smiled proudly. Congratulations, Mr. Walker. I walked toward the stage while cameras flashed from every direction. The expressions across the ballroom changed instantly. Madison Reed covered Madison Reed's mouth in disbelief. Brandon Cole stared at me without moving. Several investors immediately stepped forward after my introduction. Mr. Walker, it's an honor. We've been looking forward to meeting you. Walker Global Holdings has impressive plans. Thank you, I replied, shaking hands. Charlotte Walker handed me the microphone. I appreciate the warm welcome. Walker Global Holdings believes success begins with respect. Wealth can build companies, but character builds lasting partnerships. I hope tonight creates opportunities based on trust instead of appearances. The audience applauded again. From the stage, I looked directly at Brandon Cole. The confidence Brandon Cole carried earlier had completely disappeared. Madison Reed couldn't stop staring at me. When the presentation ended, Madison Reed hurried toward me. Ryan, why didn't Ryan Walker tell me the truth? I met Madison Reed's eyes calmly. I wanted someone to love me instead of my family's name. Tears formed in Madison Reed's eyes. I never knew. You never asked. I can explain. There isn't anything left to explain. Before Madison Reed could say another word, 3 international investors approached me. Mr. Walker, we'd like to discuss a partnership. I'd be happy to. I walked away without looking back. For the first time since the gala, Madison Reed understood exactly what had been lost. The man introduced as just my driver had always been the most powerful person in the room. The morning after the summit, my office phone refused to stay quiet. Jason Parker walked in carrying a tablet. Mr. Walker, every major business network is talking about last night. Good or bad? A little of both. Jason Parker placed the tablet on my desk. Headlines praise Walker Global Holdings, but another story immediately caught my attention. Brandon Cole questions Walker executives' business ethics. I looked up. So Brandon Cole has decided to fight. Jason Parker nodded. Brandon Cole claims Walker Global Holdings manipulated investors. I smiled. Interesting. You don't seem worried. I'm not. A few minutes later, Charlotte Walker entered my office. I've already spoken with our legal team. I expected that. They're ready if Brandon Cole files a lawsuit. I don't want revenge. Charlotte Walker crossed both arms. I know. I only want the truth. The truth usually wins. Before I could answer, my assistant announced another visitor. Mr. Walker, Natalie Cole is here. I looked at Charlotte Walker. Brandon Cole's sister? Charlotte Walker nodded. Send Natalie Cole in. Natalie Cole entered with a serious expression. Thank you for seeing me. What can I do for Natalie Cole? Natalie Cole placed a folder on my desk. I came because Brandon Cole has gone too far. I opened the folder. Inside were copies of financial statements, emails, and signed contracts. What am I looking at? Proof. Proof of what? Brandon Cole forged company records to attract investors. I slowly turned another page. Every document looked authentic. Natalie Cole spoke quietly. I warned Brandon Cole to stop. Why bring everything to me? Because innocent people shouldn't suffer. I closed the folder. This could destroy Brandon Cole. I know. You're willing to testify? Yes. Charlotte Walker exchanged a glance with me. This changes everything. Before anyone could continue, Jason Parker rushed into the office. Mr. Walker, what happened? Our legal department just received official notice. Notice of what? Judge Rebecca Adams has approved an investigation into both companies. I stood immediately. So it's starting. Jason Parker nodded. The hearing is scheduled for next week. Natalie Cole looked directly at me. Don't worry. I'm not worried. You sound confident. I've spent years hiding my name. I closed the evidence folder. I'm done hiding. Charlotte Walker smiled. Then let's prepare. I picked up my jacket. If Brandon Cole wants the truth inside a courtroom, Brandon Cole will get exactly that. As we walked toward the conference room, my phone vibrated. The caller's name surprised me. Madison Reed. I stared at the screen for several seconds before answering. Hello. Ryan Walker. Please don't hang up. The fear in Madison Reed's voice sounded completely different from the confidence I remembered. I stayed silent for a moment before speaking. What does Madison Reed want? I need 5 minutes. You have 2. Madison Reed took a shaky breath. I didn't know Brandon Cole was lying. I'm not surprised. Please believe me. I believe Madison Reed didn't know everything. Then meet me. Why? Because I need to tell Ryan Walker something important. I can listen now. It isn't safe over phone. Those words caught my attention. What does that mean? Brandon Cole knows an investigation has started. I already know. Brandon Cole is destroying evidence. My expression changed immediately. How do you know? I overheard Brandon Cole talking to a lawyer. What exactly did Brandon Cole say? Brandon Cole said nobody could prove anything after the files disappeared. I looked at Charlotte Walker. Charlotte Walker immediately understood. Jason Parker was already taking notes. Did Brandon Cole mention where the files are? Only one place. Where? The downtown office. I thanked Madison Reed, without saying anything else, and ended the call. Charlotte Walker folded both arms. Can we trust Madison Reed? I don't know. Jason Parker spoke first. We can verify the information before acting. I agree. Natalie Cole nodded. The downtown office is Brandon Cole's private headquarters. So Madison Reed told the truth. Most likely. Within an hour, our legal team requested an emergency court order. Judge Rebecca Adams approved the request before sunset. Investigators entered Brandon Cole's office with search warrants. The next morning, Jason Parker rushed into my office wearing the biggest smile I had seen in weeks. They found everything. I stood immediately. Everything. Financial records, hidden accounts, fake contracts, and deleted emails. What about the original investment files? Jason Parker laughed. Still locked inside Brandon Cole's private safe. I couldn't help smiling. The truth survived. Charlotte Walker entered carrying fresh documents. The investigators confirmed every piece of evidence Natalie Cole provided. Natalie Cole looked relieved. I was afraid nobody would believe me. I believed Natalie Cole the moment those records matched. Before anyone could say another word, another message appeared on my phone. It was from Madison Reed. I never wanted any of this. I'm sorry. I read the message twice before locking my screen. Jason Parker looked at me. Will you answer? I slowly shook my head. No, not even one sentence. Some conversations end the moment respect disappears. I walked toward the window, overlooking the city. For weeks, I thought losing Madison Reed had been the worst moment of my life. Now I understood something different. The greatest loss wasn't the relationship. The greatest loss would have been losing my self-respect. Outside, the city moved forward without waiting for anyone. Inside, I finally felt the same. Next week, Brandon Cole would stand before Judge Rebecca Adams. For the first time, Brandon Cole wouldn't control the story. The truth would. The courtroom was completely silent when Judge Rebecca Adams entered. Please be seated. Everyone took a seat. I looked across the room. Brandon Cole avoided my eyes. Natalie Cole sat beside our legal team. Charlotte Walker reviewed the final documents. Jason Parker leaned toward me. Ready? I've been ready since the night everything changed. Judge Rebecca Adams looked around the courtroom. This hearing concerns allegations of financial fraud, forged documents, and investor deception. Brandon Cole stood. Your Honor, I have done nothing illegal. Our attorney calmly replied, the evidence will answer that claim. One by one, the investigators presented every document recovered from Brandon Cole's office. Forged contracts, hidden bank transfers, false investment reports. Every piece matched the evidence Natalie Cole had provided. Judge Rebecca Adams examined each file carefully. Then Natalie Cole stepped into the witness box. Do you swear to tell the truth? I do. Our attorney asked, why did Natalie Cole come forward? Natalie Cole answered without hesitation. Because protecting families should never come before protecting innocent people. Brandon Cole immediately stood. That's a lie. Judge Rebecca Adams looked directly at Brandon Cole. Sit down. Brandon Cole slowly returned to the chair. The courtroom became quiet again. Next, Jason Parker testified about the company's financial records. Every answer remained calm and precise. Finally, my attorney looked at me. Mr. Walker, please take the stand. I walked forward and raised my right hand. After taking the oath, I sat down. Mr. Walker, my attorney began, did Walker Global Holdings ever manipulate investors? No. Did Ryan Walker personally threaten Brandon Cole? Never. What did Ryan Walker want from the beginning? I wanted the truth. The attorney nodded. What happened after the charity gala? I took a slow breath. I ended a relationship because respect disappeared. Brandon Cole laughed quietly. Judge Rebecca Adams immediately interrupted. One more interruption, and Brandon Cole will be removed from this courtroom. Silence returned. I continued. I never planned revenge. I simply returned to my work. Every investigation began because Brandon Cole made false accusations against me. Our attorney smiled. No further questions. As I stepped down from the witness stand, Brandon Cole suddenly stood again. This isn't over. Judge Rebecca Adams struck the gavel. It almost is. The entire courtroom waited as Judge Rebecca Adams opened the final report. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. I could hear my own heartbeat. Everything that had happened during the past month had led to this single moment. The truth was finally stronger than every lie. All that remained was the verdict. Judge Rebecca Adams looked across the courtroom before reading the final decision. After reviewing the evidence and witness testimony, this court finds Brandon Cole responsible for financial fraud, document forgery, and investor deception. The courtroom erupted with whispers. Brandon Cole jumped to both feet. This decision is unfair. Judge Rebecca Adams remained calm. The evidence speaks for itself. Two security officers stepped beside Brandon Cole. For the first time since I had met Brandon Cole, confidence disappeared from Brandon Cole's face. As Brandon Cole walked toward the courtroom doors, Brandon Cole turned to look at me. You think you won? I answered quietly. I stopped trying to win the day. I started respecting myself. Brandon Cole said nothing else. The doors closed behind Brandon Cole. Weeks later, Walker Global Holdings announced another successful expansion. Investors returned with complete confidence, and every project moved forward stronger than before. One afternoon, I left the office and noticed someone waiting across the street. Madison Reed. Madison Reed walked toward me slowly. Can Ryan Walker have a minute? You can. Madison Reed looked into my eyes. I replayed that night every day. I stayed silent. I wish I could take those words back. I know. I was ashamed of the wrong person. I know. I lost someone who truly loved me. You did. Tears filled Madison Reed's eyes. Is there any chance we can start again? I smiled gently. I forgave Madison Reed a long time ago. Hope appeared on Madison Reed's face. Then I continued. But forgiveness doesn't always mean another chance. The hope slowly faded. I understand. I honestly hope Madison Reed finds happiness. What about Ryan Walker? I already have. At that moment, Claire Foster walked out of a nearby cafe, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Sorry I'm late. Perfect timing. Claire Foster smiled after noticing Madison Reed. I'll wait if this conversation isn't finished. It is. Madison Reed looked at Claire Foster, then back at me. I'm glad Ryan Walker isn't alone. Neither am I. Madison Reed gave one final smile before quietly walking away. I watched until Madison Reed disappeared into crowd. Claire Foster handed me a cup of coffee. Ready? Ready for what? The future. I looked at the busy city around us and smiled. More than ever, as Claire Foster and I walked together, I realized money had never changed my life. One sentence had. The night Madison Reed introduced me as a driver, I thought I had lost everything. Instead, I lost the fear of walking away from people who refused to respect me. That lesson became the greatest gift I had ever received. My story didn't end with revenge. My story ended with peace. And peace was worth far more than any fortune my family could ever own.